Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Welcome to the next video, all about I'm going to be using for my portfolio, and this project is going to be called Cyberbullying Music Videos. What I did is I had my students work in pairs to create a film that would inform about the dangers of cyberbullying, and hopefully that this film could help educate their peers about why we should not do it and characteristics of things of that. And they got to experiment with some mobile tools such as the Story Pages app on their iPod. They got to make their own original music with Aviary. We used a modo to collaborate on the files and showcase their writing, and they wrote their scripts using OpenOffice. If you stay tuned for the rest of the video, I'm going to showcase you some of the standards and the learning objectives that are going to be aligned with it. You're going to see some clips of what they made. And without further ado, here's a little trailer about what they're going to be doing with this project as we continue on as they learn story writing, acting, editing, music creation, and problem solving.
On our scripts and stuff, we this much fun in the second part of our story till we work on the app. And so here's a storyboard so we can
The first piece of technology that I used was OpenOffice. We used this program because it was free and it was available on all the netbooks, and I thought students would have more opportunity to write this at home since it is a free program. There was some scaffolding used when the students created their teams. Initially there was going to just be a writer, then that left 3 people doing nothing, so I insisted that everyone in the team write something for their script using OpenOffice. It has pros and cons. Probably the biggest downside was not having enough collaboration, so if I were to do this again, I would clearly use just Google Docs and have each student have their own Gmail account that they can access their files on. The next tool that I used was Modo. I wanted to use Modo so that the students had a collaboration platform and so that I could keep track of their progress throughout this project. I think what worked well is that the students could send a file to from each other, or at least to the whole class, and that way I could see what they were working on. They could send it to me as a file. They were also able to utilize the resources, like I could post the Prezi of our project, and that way they can go to and from on the project if they needed to get some directions reiterated to them, or video tutorials that I may have sent to them as well. So it was able to use as a management platform for me. I think what I would do better next time is, again, go back to that Google Docs. If a student each had Google Docs, they could collaborate a lot more onto this project. I would probably also be able to utilize the Modo a little bit better by creating more shorter assignments, and that way the students could be on track a little bit better, as they were getting a little bit off task, and just because they had a modo up on their screen didn't mean that they were utilizing for their project. The next tool that I utilized was the Story Pages app. I chose this because I wanted the students to have some time working with the different technology, i.e. the mobile tools such as the iPods in our school, and the stylus pens that I got for them to help them draw on such a small surface. Another reason why I chose it because I thought this app would be a great way to combine the students' simple drawings with the text of their script, and it kept them motivated because they knew they couldn't get their iPod until their finished script was completed, and I think a lot of them had a lot of fun getting to play with the other apps once their work work was done. The downside of this project is that we had a lot of major exporting issues between saving the files as a PDF and then emailing that PDF to me, and or exporting the images into iPhoto was very difficult. So if I had to do this again, hopefully there'll be a new app out there that can easily combine text and pictures and a much more simpler exporting option to me besides via email. The next tool I want to talk about was my Prezi and my smartboard. Prezi was an online presentation tool where I can easily modify my previous lesson plan on filmmaking to adapt it more to a music video project. What I was able to do was we did a day about acting exercises, and I had a variety of acting games, and it helped me pace along what I needed to do throughout the class with the students, and they got to see it up on the board because I had lost my voice by that day from showing off and screaming everything about acting to them. What worked well is on it is that you can easily update your Prezi from their main website. You can embed it into a website, and by putting the Prezi on the students in Modo, they could follow along and they can keep on track whenever they have their computers available. By keeping the smartboard in front of the class, they could also follow along easily, and they can draw on the board and interact with it as well. So we had a real fun time just utilizing that. If I were to use the Prezi again, I would probably have more breaks within it to check for assessment. It's been primarily used just as to keep me going and keep the students moving. Once the students knew how to act, they were released throughout the school and they started to film their actual movie. Each day, the students were given, as the producer, what they had to do was get a permission slip signed by another 8th grade teacher to watch over them during the filming process, and the camera person was demonstrated basic flip cam operation. What was important about using the flip cam is that it was easy and portable and easy to use. Just point, click, and shoot. Probably the downside is that when we dumped the footage to Dropbox, we couldn't really keep a clip that was longer than 1 minute, or it couldn't support it. The file would be too large. So they were kind of limited with that. Also, if I were to do this again, I would probably let the students, if we have permissions, let them utilize their own cell phones because they had a better quality camera than my own flip cams. The next tool that I want to showcase would have to be Dropbox. Every day, the camera operator got in the habit of logging into this website, uploading all their footage, and then deleting off the camera for the next class to use. I really like this website as the students were able to play their clips afterwards to see how they look. We had days where we reviewed the dailies to see what worked well, what didn't. Afterwards, they will be able to download their clips from Dropbox onto WeVideo. This also helped out because we had a couple groups that combined together and they could still email each other a link to folders so they could still share all the files. If I had to do this again, I would like to find a website that allows this online cloud storage, but also allows to just upload a video clip via the URL code instead of downloading from Dropbox and then uploading to WeVideo. The next tool that I chose was WeVideo. I chose WeVideo because it is an online platform and allows collaboration between sharing files and folders. The students can easily create accounts via their Facebook, Gmail, or Yahoo account, and it's really all just about downloading clips from Dropbox and uploading them to WeVideo. I chose it because they could use this Flash-enabled program on any computer, but on that same downside, we also had similar Flash problems on the netbooks and a couple of the computers in my classroom, so not every student got to play around with this program just yet, but it is very simple to use to download clips from Dropbox and upload them to WeVideo, and then be able to just shrink or cut and also add a couple neat little effects onto the clips for graphics. If I had to use this again, I would like to make sure I had all my computers in school that were updated with Flash, or hopefully there'll be a new editing program perhaps on a mobile app that we can utilize next time around that can easily allow the students to get their clips from their flip cam to a website to collaborate with and then export their finished work to a social media site such as YouTube. Aviary was a suite of tools that was recommended to me in order for students to create their own music on a website, and without really knowing much about music. All you had to do was just drop in a beat on a certain frame and the students could easily create their own music. I wanted to do this so that it gave the students a platform that they can utilize from any computer. They won't have to download anything, and it was all about being Flash enabled to make your own music. And not to mention that, but I wanted to make sure that they used royalty-free things, so they had to make up their own music. That way this could be properly showcased on YouTube. It's really simple to use. You can create an MP3 file when you're all done, and at the same time we had issues with Flash again, so hopefully if I were to do this again I could find another tool that would either not be so Flash dependent or have more computers that would allow this creation of music much more simply, and again to create it and share it through a variety of social media platforms.